on and I don't care.
Jimmy
I don't
Crack
care. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the matter?
I don't care.
Oh, wait a minute, Tom. What do you mean you don't
I just
care?
don't care. I don't like that sign. I just don't care.
You don't care about anything?
I don't care.
Well, tell me, what do you think's the greatest single problem in the United States today?
Apathy. We're getting a real chuckle out of it.
I love it. I love it. I just thought of it. You know what? Apathy is a problem, and we like to show that the viewers at home that our studio audience has not 1 ounce of apathy in them, that they care about things and that they're thinking, probing, and their minds are always darting around and wondering and questioning. And so right now we'd like to have you throw up unrehearsed questions. That's not quite what I meant, but if, you know, it's a free country. Throw up questions about anything in particular.
You're going to stick to that, aren't you?
Well, you know, I committed myself. Any questions from the audience for my brother or myself? Could you stand up, please?
Stand up and ask the question.
What does I hear about Pat Paulson running for president?
Pat Paulson running for president?
Pat Paulson.
We could,
I don't know if we can speak for...
There's been some talk about Pat Paulson running for president, and we can, if we'd like, bring out Pat, and he can answer that himself.
I think
Pat?
that'd be better.
Pat
Pat around. Pat, I don't think you heard. A young lady asked. She heard there was a rumor that you were running for the presidency and in next November, and we thought maybe you could answer the question.
I'm not running for any office. This is all hearsay.
Hearsay.
Then you're absolutely not running for an office?
No, I'm not running for any office, and I'm not going to run. And I have this to say about the campaign.
Say about what?
There's this. It seems that Pat. Well, we'll throw it open to questions.
Yeah,
to the
any
audience.
questions you would
any
like to ask
questions you
Mr.
like
Paulson?
him politically oriented because he is vitally interested.
The lady in the yellow here, stand up, please.
I'd like to know what political party you're affiliated with.
I'm not affiliated with any party. I'm not a candidate. I have my own work in California.
Pat, what do you feel on the show business question? I'd like to ask you because I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in the political situation here in the country now. I think we need more people to step out and be counted. And if you possibly could be one of those people that will commit themselves to a political career. I know you said you're not going to, but if you feel that being a comedian will be a hindrance, or being in show business will be a hindrance to you in running for office, if you do indeed.
Well, I've stated before, as a comedian, I think I'm just as effective as President Johnston. I think that in this country, things are always looking pretty bad. I don't think we have anything to fear but fear itself and of course, the boogeyman.
Way over there, one more question.
Mr. Paulson, what's it like being a national sex symbol?
What's up, Mike? I'd like to repeat the question. Yeah.
Well, in case it's not heard...
He can answer that.
But what I want to repeat the question that the question was directed to Mr. Paulson on what it feels like to be a national sex symbol.
I haven't as yet reaped any of the rewards.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that wraps up the questions for Mr. Paulson. I would like to thank Pat Paulson for coming out here and exposing himself to these questions you've been throwing up. And let's have
a big hand for a very wonderful American, a man. Pat Paulson is a courageous American with a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideals, and I don't think it would be such a bad idea if a groundswell did happen. I think you'd make a very fine president because you are interested and you do care about what's happening in the world. A big hand for Mr. Pat Paulson. Thank you.
very much. We would like to thank our guests for tonight, Mr. Arthur Godfrey, Moms Mabley, Pat Paulson, and the Bee Gees.
Mr. Mabley. Now, next week's our guest will be Ravi Shankar, Mel Torme, and Mr. Don Knotts. So tune in. Good night.
Good night.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Moms Mabley, I think this was her second appearance on the show.
You just love doing that.
I don't know, sometimes Moms Mabley, she's wonderful. So she did a real classic stand-up piece on the show.
Right.
No sketch at this particular time, just a stand-up
And
piece.
it was sort of neat, too, because Moms Mabley wasn't in the mainstream of comedy, you know, and there was a number
I think it was the
of acts
only primetime network show she'd ever
did. Yeah, I always wondered what it did to her career. I never did find out. But having her on the show give us a lot of that dimension. And Arthur Godfrey was another unusual person to book on the variety show like that. But Arthur Godfrey, I mean, you talk about Milton Berle as Mr. Television, you know, back there in the early 50s. Arthur Godfrey was about as big. And he was so powerful on television. He would fire people right on the air.
His radio show, he was a dominant radio. He was very laid back. He wasn't, quote, a performer, like a performing song and dance band, but he made very popular the ukulele. He played the ukulele all the time, had presented and created a lot of stars with his
he was more of a talk
talent
show.
scout show.
Wouldn't you say he was more of a talk host?
Absolutely more a talk show host.
The Bee Gees, two different groups, really, almost, aren't they?
Well, the Smothers brothers were one of the first shows who brought on what they called at that time rock acts or soft rock. Now, the Bee Gees were breakthrough type of music from England, and we always had, every show we had a place in prime time for the performers of that era, the 60s rock groups, and nobody else had a place for them but the Smothers brothers.
It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away.
We hope that this comedy hour brought back some pleasant memories, or if you weren't around back then, maybe you learned a little bit about what the world and TV were like in 1968.
We'll see you next time with another Smothers Brothers original comedy hour right here on E, the easiest network to spell.
Tomorrow at 8 on the Smothers Brothers, it's comedy with Nanette Fabre and Rock Out with Steppenwolf, dude.